Do you know how to use props and default state in your React application?
So let's check an example here. If I create a very basic project using the command npx create react app with the name of my project, and wait a few seconds, I will have my project here, so I can open it. After I have it opened, I can open the terminal and type yarn and yarn start. I will install all the dependencies needed for the project. And after it will be available in localhost or 3000. And as you can see, we have a very basic React application. So let's change some parts of it. We can come here to source, app.js, and replace what we have here inside that comes as default. We can delete all this content, and here above we can create a new React component, so we can declare it as function with the same syntax that we have here below, or the way I prefer is creating with arrow functions. For example, if you create a message component, we can write it like this, open and close brackets, and here inside we can return a single element. It can be a div element. And here we can put whatever we want as just for us to check in the browser how it works. So if we write test, we need to call this, now it becomes a component, so we can use it here instead of returning a div, or we can even return here inside. We can call our new component message. We can open and close, and you see that we have test. Now if we type this many times, we can have several tests. But what happens if we want to display some conditional value or some dynamic value here inside? I can receive what we call props here in React. So basically I will receive here inside the props, and here instead of putting a static value as test, I can replace it to use my props dot anything that we want to call it. I will call it message, really. So this enables us to use an attribute now that is called message, as I just wrote above. So now I can say that my message here is equal to, let's say, test1. The others will be test2, test3, test4. And now I can see that I have the same component, I'm reusing it with different values here inside. But what happens if for some of them, let's say the 3, I don't send this value? We have 1, 2, and 4. Okay, but I also mentioned in the beginning of the video that I will show you how to use default values as well. So what happens if we don't pass this value? We can have it like this. No message available. So what if I destructure this as a message? I'm just taking this out of the props, so I can call it directly without informing props again. You see that it will happen exactly the same. 1, 2, no message available, and 4. But if I delete it, I can use it here as well, what we call default values. It will say that if we don't have a message, if no message is being informed, we can assign to it a default value. So I can write it here as a string default test value. And now we see that as I'm not informing to the third element, the message, I can use this default value. I hope you have enjoyed this video. It was short, but I hope you can take some value for it and take for yourself as a takeaway.